CIVE 305, Intermediate AutoCAD Part, Drawing Setup Part 5. So we're in model space, we've drawn a rectangle. So let's talk a little bit about shortcut keys. I have posted on Canvas some shortcut keys, and you can use your function keys also, and you can also hit Shift. Here are some common ones. Shift E will erase text, line. They're also, you can also just type these in, which is what I typically do is just, if I want to type text, I type in T, hit enter, and it will prompt me to do text. So let me show you a couple of these. So we're in AutoCAD. You can, and I actually have these on my keyboard. At the very bottom of this, you can print these right here and actually put them just above your shortcut function keys. And then when you look down, it will help you remember which ones are which. So let's look. Okay, so let's say I want to put some text in. So I can type text, hit enter, and it's going to ask me for the first corner here. That's where I want my text to be, and now it's going to bring up a box. And so I'm going to call this Sheet 1 border. Hit enter. Now it's there, but it's very small. I can't even read it, and I'm just using my wheel key to toggle in and out. So I can change the size of the text by clicking on it and then hitting properties. Now I want this layer to be on my no print layer. So here I'm going to put it on my no print layer. And then I can also change the line weight and scale. But what I really want is I want to make the text height bigger. So I'm going to use, I'm going to start with 5 inches tall. And I can close that. And there's my sheet border. It's 5 inches tall. And maybe I don't want it to live right there. Maybe I want to move it. So if I hit M, it's going to select objects. Now, there's a few different ways you can select it. You can click on it, but let's say you want to select a whole bunch of things. You can use your left click your left mouse once, and then you can make a window. As soon as you press your left, then take your finger off, and if you go up, and actually let me add something. So I'm going to hit copy, and I'm just going to copy this as text so that I can have two things here. So copy. So again, so I want to move this, and if I go up, it's going to select everything that it touches. Whereas if I go from the click up and down, so here I'm going to hit move, make my box up and down, it only selects things that it's wholly in the square, meaning you can see that this is the second text down here is partially in the square. It's not selecting it, it's showing you it's highlighted. Whereas when I did the other way from the bottom up, even if it touches it, it's going to select it. So click that, then I'm going to use my right key to select where I want it to go, and then I click down here to move it. Now, if you hold down your left mouse key when you're selecting something, and you hold it down, it's going to let you select a polygon. And so if you start seeing this thing, it means that you're holding the mouse key down, and it thinks you want to select a polygon. Okay, so I have text that's going to show up and text that's not going to show up. Or I have text that's going to show up here, and actually maybe I want this text to be, maybe I want it to say, whoops, if I click on this text here, maybe I want this to be my foundation plan or my floor plan. And again, if I click that here and I go to layers, I can also change the layer right here. So let's say I want that to be on my text layer. And I want to draw something else as well. I'm going to draw a couple more lines just to establish. So I'm going to just hit line, and it's automatically going to draw whatever line. So right now it's on S slab, so it's going to draw S slab. So if I wanted to draw maybe, for example, a wall below, so now that is the layer that's highlighted. That's what will come up. So type in line, L, I had my start point, my end point, and there's my line. Again, I can come in and change this layer and put on any layer I want. Here I have column dashed. You can change the line scale. You can change the dashed. There's a whole bunch of different things that we'll go through. So I have it on a wall now, and the other thing I want to set up, this will be the final setup, is I want to put a dimension in because I want to dimension my drawing. So I'm going to use my shortcut key CIM, and it's going to start here, and it's going to go to the end here. Now, because I click that here on my layer, because I was on walls, it's making that into my wall layer, and I really want it to be on my dimension layer. So put on my dimensions layer. Now it's there, but it's super small. So I'm going to click on it, go to properties, and I'm going to make that text height 5 inches so that I can actually see it. So now, last piece of our drawing setup, when I go into layout, here now I can see that I have a foundation floor plan, I have a text established, I have a line, I have dimensions, and these are going to show up on my 8.5 by 11. And this is my sheet S1. The last thing I'm going to do for my drawing setup is I'm going to rename this. So I'm going to right click, hit rename, and I'm going to call this S1. And I can continue adding sheets by just clicking this plus, or if I want, I can actually move or copy. So let's do that. So I'm going to move it to the end. I'm going to create a copy. I'm going to hit OK. And maybe I want to rename this to be S2. And I can also move the order here, so I can just drag this over. So now I have S1 and S2. Essentially, it's the same thing. But if I come into S2 and I toggle out of my paper space and get into my model space, I do have to unlock it. I can use my hand key, and then I can actually now create a different view, one right over. And we'll do that when we set up our floor plan. We'll set up a detail as well. So for your assignment, I want you to create an S1, create your title block. I want to save, have your drawing conventions, make sure you're in units, and I'll post a rubric for that as well.